Here are some book club meeting highlights.
What did you think about the setting of the story?
I like the setting. I thought, with the way it was going with the darkness, the theme of it. I like that, just the way they were just she was describing it. That I like. So that I like the darkness of it, that gothic kind of, you know. That's but yeah, that part I like.
I thought the author really, and maybe she does this in her other books, like she was really big into like world building,
Hmm.
like really describing everything, like really trying to paint that scenery from like the first chapter.
Yeah.
Um, and I think some people really, really like that. I liked some of it, but I thought some of it was very redundant and unnecessary and a little like
Mhm.
drawn out. Um, so it was like good in ways, but again, maybe that's like the style is very much like that. Like I feel like she really wanted you to know what every little like sculpture was
Yeah.
around every corner and nook and like,
Yeah.
to paint the scene. But I don't think a lot of that added value to me to the read. I thought it like just added length. But in some ways it worked. Like when she was describing the whole scene with Raul, like I really like she painted a good picture
Yeah.
there. I
Mhm.
really could
Yeah.
visualize it. But
Yeah.
so that was kind of my opinion of the world building
Now,
stuff.
see, I
I
just want to jump in real quick before anybody else go because what she said. See, now I'm the opposite of what Tanasha is saying because I think that the book suffers from not enough world building. It very
Mm.
much, to me, I could tell that this was a historical type of gothic story with a lot of
Yeah.
historical context, but I could tell it was written by a modern writer. So I feel like if this was a gothic story, a gothic historical horror story written by a classical writer, it would
Hmm.
be even more descriptive. I feel like it didn't have
Hmm.
enough description, and I feel like because it was only this one setting
Yeah.
in the house, it didn't have enough room to explore the bigger world outside of this house. Just the part in the beginning, and then once we got to the house, we stayed at the house. And I know that it was so much bigger than that because they talked about like the different races and cultures and how different bloods taste. And I would have loved to hear more of that. And I think it's suffering from not enough world building. So I'm
I
with
would
I'm
agree
with
with you with that too. I would
Yeah.
agree with you with that actually. I would agree that it probably maybe more of that would have been more appealing to me to just me personally than the every little, surface and crevice description. But I agree with you. I can see that for sure.
Can I say
Hmm.
something really quick?
go ahead.
I feel like okay, the world building, yeah, it lacked a little bit because I read a lot of I've read the Game of Thrones, you know what I mean. So it's like they put it in there, or like the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings. I feel like what she lacked on was explaining why her blood was so special. The guy tasted her blood. I thought
Yeah.
he was going to turn out to be a different type of being or a fairy. Like I watched True Blood, which is about vampires and stuff and blood.
Yeah.
And at the end, the girl who they loved the most, she turned out to be a fairy, and it was a whole fairy world and why she
Yeah.
was special and stuff. I truly was waiting for the reason or the explanation of why her blood was just so special. Was it because she was a
Special.
killer, or was it because she just had a different type of gift? You get what I'm saying? Like, of course she was different than the other girls because she paid attention and she noticed that something was going on. But what was in her blood that made it so special for Tiago to trick her into thinking they didn't even ask for another blood maid? What was in her blood that was so special? I wish she would have touched on that a little bit more. What
Hmm.
made her so different than the other blood maids, and what made her able to be the first blood maid? Was it because her blood was fresher? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was it in her blood
Like,
that was
what
so
was
special?
it? Yeah. What
I did.
Mm.
was it?
I put that in my notes as well. I got in my notes, why was she so special? Question mark. She didn't
Right.
really
Right.
dive deeper into that, and it kind of reminded me, not the story because this story is way better than this book I'm about to mention, but it kind of reminded me of Bella from Twilight, where she was, immune to all their gifts and all their powers.
Yeah.
Stephanie Meyer never really define why
Mhm.
she was so special, why
Right.
nobody could read her mind, why none of their gifts didn't work on her. I guess, you know, at last book they said she was a shield or whatever, but she didn't go deeper into why this person was so
Yeah.
different.
Why
Like I
Edward
get an
couldn't reach
explanation on
her?
that as well.
Mhm.
There was a lot of questions. I would have liked to even got some more background. So they weren't vampires, so they were just humans that like blood.
Correct!
Like
They were
clarification. Like
vampires, but they didn't dive into the vampire lore like a lot of other books do.
You're wrong.
You're so wrong.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
If you think about a lot of vampire stories, they're like centered around stories of passion. They're romanticized. Like even the nature of sucking on somebody seems very sexual in nature. So I mean, like when I was reading the book, I was like, oh, this is a toxic relationship. This is just toxic. And it reminded me of Louis and Lestat's relationship and fucking Interview with the Vampire, how they were yearning for each other, but they were terrible for each other.
Yeah, the tooth thing, I don't know that they really got in. Why were they so compelled to rip out their teeth? Just because she would ask them, I guess,
I think
yeah,
to do it?
I think it was to prove, because when what's the
To
name was
prove
so
loyalty.
upset, what's the name was so obsessed with her that she was willing to die for her. So like when she asked her to pull out her tooth, she was
yeah.
ready to do it without any hesitation. So I imagine that same thing happened to the other girls.
I got
Killing
annoyed
her
with that.
test
I got
of their
annoyed with that
loyalty.
too. Yeah, the loyalty. That's what she wanted. Like, ugh.
She was very manipulative and very smart
Very,
about it.
very.
Like, to the point where these girls were, like I said, obsessed with her, and
Yeah.
it became possessive to the point where they don't even
Care about
they start fighting amongst one another. And I think she did that on purpose. There's a little exposition-y at the end of the story during the climax where she's like, you do this because you pit us against one another so this can happen XYZ, which I thought was a little exposition, but the author spelled it out for anybody who had any questions. But yeah, that's what it was. She was manipulating them, pitting one girl against one another, causing friction. Yeah, I don't think they used the word vampire in the text, so which would have helped with the world building, because do vampires exist in this universe? Like we know them to exist, or you know what I mean? The world building would have helped with that a little bit more.
Right, guys. I Googled this stuff. This book is literally after a real person named Elizabeth that was killing young girls in her castle and stuff.
What?
Oh yeah. When I
bathroom.
was reading the reviews, this name kept coming up, and it was like, this is based off of this. But I thought they was talking. I didn't look deeper into it. I didn't do the research. I thought they was talking about another book, a classic book or something that it was based on. So maybe that's what they were talking. I really liked the main character's defiant nature, and that she never lost that. Even she lost herself there for a moment when she started getting very like, but sex can do that to a person sometimes. You know what I mean? So she lost herself there for a moment, but she was able to reel herself back in at the end. And if she didn't have that defiant nature, she would have ended up down there with Cecilia, locked up, getting to death. If she would have never been snooping. She always asked questions. She went snooping.
Always. That's what I liked about her too.
She put up a good fight when it came down to it.
You guys have complaints. I know you guys have some complaints about characters. So I want to talk about characters, character motivations, character decisions, any issues, positive, negative, that you want to talk about with the characters.
That damn Madam Brochure, whoever the lady with the whip.
The house mother, right? She was the house mother?
No, not the house mother. The one who you went to go train. Pop the hand. Oh, I don't like her. I was like, that heifer.
It was crazy how they all were in on it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Even Tiago, like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my God. I said it too. I'm like, don't trust him. I'm reading the book like, nope. Don't trust him, girl. Don't trust him.
Favorite character, that train station guy. He had to be my favorite kid.
Yes. Stupid ass. And then she ended up killing him. I was like, he's so dumb. It was him for me.
I was so nervous at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, when they were at the train station, I would, you were like, oh my God, just take the
Because
check.
once Tiago was shown to not give a crap and knew everything anyway. Oh,
Yeah,
I was so hoping that train station guy would help. Once she mentioned that he was Southern, that gave me more hope that he would
Right,
help.
right. I was so happy with him. Yes, I was.
mm-hmm. But yeah, that matter. And then her she really didn't go into much about her brother. We just know he was a drunk, like the town drunk. And they said she killed him. I don't know if he really.
Yeah, remember?
His
Yeah,
corpse
she
was getting
did.
eaten by
Yeah,
dogs.
remember? You
Yeah.
said
Oh
when she
yeah,
said
that's
she
right. That's
contacted
right.
them. I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, she wrote a letter to the people who lived. Somebody
yeah.
lived in that town, and
Yeah.
he was so badly eaten up by the dogs. He ended up
Ew, yeah.
dragging himself
Yeah.
out to the street, but the dogs got to him. They couldn't really identify him. So yeah, that was crazy. But I think her brother had syphilis. They hinted at
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
and
that's what I
syphilis,
said.
it affects
Back
your
then,
mind, makes you go
yes.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I said the same thing. I said either gonorrhea or syphilis, because after years, they both do the same thing to your body.
Yeah. Yep. Make your mind
And I
just go
think
crazy.
I think he was gay because she said the things that he liked to do in the dark, like
Yeah.
Yep.
if he liked to lay down with women, she would have just said from sex with most. She would have explicitly said that. Based
But
on
she
the
also
time
said he sold his
period,
body
those
for
types of
money.
things were shunned on even more so than they are now. So I think he was gay. And at first I was like, okay, maybe he got AIDS. But then when we talked about his mind, I was like, oh, he probably got syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted them to give us the tea. What he got?
She also mentioned that he had sold his body for money.
Yeah.
He needed money.
Yeah.
He had sold his body, so that's But probably.
he
didn't have
to
be that mean to her. Too.
He was not. Sorry,
didn't.
I didn't mean to do that.
Go ahead.
He didn't have to be that evil to her and mean and call her names. He would have still been alive if he ain't tried to be like, you're gonna stay here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, let her go and she'll be back.
But remember, it was the disease he had. It affected him. So.
And the addiction, because he forced her to give her the money. He found the money. Like, then he beat her up or something. He was all messed up. He was a addict. He had a disease that was messing with his mind, and he was a gambler. Like, he was all. What did you guys think about specifically Marion's motivations to like leave the slums and do this thing purely for wealth and a better life?
Well, I think we were just talking about her brother and how hard it was for her to live with him in that situation. So I felt like that gave her good motivation to do this dangerous, strange, faraway thing that she might not have otherwise. Like if she had a good home life and had like, stability and stuff, she maybe would not have gone to be a blood maid.
She was a dreamer, so she had dreams and aspirations. She wanted something better, She didn't want to leave her brother, but on the other hand, she had to take care of herself, because who else was going to do it? Like she said, she looked around, there was nothing but smog and dreary. So I like motivation.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, something you just said I realized that, another kind of metaphor of being a vampire story is how the North was kind of draining the South dry.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the South was in poverty and just miserable conditions and stuff, and then all that wealth and everything was being sucked up to the North. So that's kind of interesting on like a metaphor level.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting that her friend was like her friend got in this physical fight, who was also her
Agnes, right?
lover at some point.
Yeah.
And there was no like I would have wanted to learn a little bit more about that.
I actually thought about Agnes when it got to the end of the story and everything was getting revealed to Marianne, because she told her before she left, "You are going to live to regret this."
Yeah.
And she was right. She
was right.
Like, damn, Agnes was right. But at the beginning, when Agnes was trying to talk her out of it, I did write a note how this is before you even know what's going to happen. I mean, we knew it was going to be something bad over at the House of Hunger.
Yeah.
If you separate from the vampire thing, Marion had all these big dreams, these big hopes and aspirations. She wanted to get out of her situation. She wanted to get out the slums. And sometimes when people have big dreams, there are people in their corner that try to talk them out of their dreams.
Yeah.
Like sometimes your dreams are too big for others to realize. But, on the other hand, in this case, might want to listen to that. But it also goes to show how far people are willing to go for a better life.
To follow their dream.
Not just to follow their dreams, to get out of poverty.
Yeah, get out of poverty. Yeah.
Sometimes a life of privilege can offer you a lot more opportunities. And people just, and in the story, they had a conversation, fucking Countess and Marion, they had a conversation, and it was kind of like, oh, you have no idea what it's like. And it was kind of like a conversation like privilege versus, adversity. The two of them comparing their lifestyles. So I thought that was interesting.
The grass is not always greener, and this story definitely showed you that.
No.
Right.
It's like, be careful what you ask for, what you think.
Yeah.
I did like the ending. The ending was great.
Yeah, the
best part.
Good.
That was the best part.
It was good. I was so happy. They got the little girl out, the twins.
I wish Cecilia could have got out though. I really do.
Yeah.
I wish she could have got out. That was sad.
I was happy that she helped her at the end.
Yeah, she put up that fight. Me too.
Right. At the end. Like, I'm gonna get this bitch. You want to keep me locked up? Got them chains around her.
Yeah, I love that part. I definitely did. I was like, okay, but I was sad that she didn't.
Yeah.
That she didn't get to go. They got the cat though. The damn cat.
I think. And the little girl. That's what I was like. Everybody got out.
I was happy everybody got out. Yeah. But she wanted her cat because that was her companion.
I'll be back.
But I felt bad for Cecilia too. I wanted her to survive. But I was happy that she helped towards the end. I was happy about that.
I was happy she had a decent ending. I was on Discord like, I hope she lands the ending, because that can make or break a book for me. If it got an ending, I'm just like, okay. And I was glad that the characters at the end had to struggle a little bit before they, it wasn't just like they defeated everything without any type of issue and just rode off the sunset. There's got to be some sort of struggle, some sort of conflict. I mean, they're not superheroes. I hate when people give their characters like these crazy super strength, superhero moments at the end, because it don't seem, and God, I don't want to say realistic, because I'm somebody who don't think that books need to be realistic, but it just seems like, can we get a little more tension build up here? Like a little bit of struggle.
I mean, had to fight at the end. Well, no, she didn't. She thought Diego was going to be on her side. But he's a backstabber too, girl.
He was like, here she go right here.
She put up a good fight though.
Yeah.
She put up a real good fight. She was I was like, oh my God, she better not die. She better not die.
After all,
she put up a good fight.
Wait, did Tiago? I can't remember. Did Tiago die? And I don't feel like going back.
He should have, but he didn't.
He didn't.
No.
Okay.
Ivor died.
Huh?
Ivor.
One face down on the bed.
But the best part was when she took that checkbook. I said, she took that check.
Yes.
She got the checkbook, like Christina said. Me and Christina talked. She was like, well, she should have got the whole fucking checkbook. I was like, I know.
Yes, she took that check, man.
She was thinking.
I'm so
I would have been thinking to rip a page. I would have took the whole book.
The whole book. The whole
Yeah.
I said, you're right. She should have took the whole book. She was thinking on her feet
Who
though.
got time to
And
take
I
a
like that.
page?
Yep, because they needed tickets for the train, so that she just took the one check, and I was like, man, take that whole damn checkbook. He ain't gonna need it.
Because this story, it does have themes of like exploitation. They specifically targeted young girls who come from poor situations, somebody who would be looking desperately to get out of that type of situation. So they exploited these girls. I mean, you can't like wave a fucking bone in front of a starving dog and expect them not to bite it. I mean,
Right.
So I don't know. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's like a predator mindset.
Yeah.
Well, I did think it was predictable. Like I knew they weren't leaving. Like I knew these women weren't leaving and getting their pensions or whatever they called it. Even before she found that box in the house mothers or I don't know, can't remember whose room. I knew this was like a house of horrors. Like this was a place you enter.
I picked up on that too early on, Tanasha. I picked up on it as well.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, and then they're like, oh, Cecilia's gone. No, Cecilia's not gone. Like I was very.
Not gone.
No, because I believed it. I thought she really left.
Okay.
I believe it.
When it got to that part with the bill of the letters and the money stuff, I was like, I knew it.
Me too. As soon as she found the letters, I said, that bitch. She found the letters.
Yes. I closed it. I'm like, oh my God. They never got an answer back. And of course we knew, but yep.
What pissed me off is when she came downstairs to tell them what was going on, and they're all like, but we've been writing her letters. She's like, but did you get a response? Like, I know it's pissing me off. Like, why was she standing here in front of y'all and lie? And she's the first blood maid. She on top of y'all. She trying to put you, and she had to like persuade them. I was like, okay. All she had to do was tell me one time, it's time to go.
Wait a minute. Also, when they got to the dinner, I was like, she already know. One of them betrayed y'all. I thought it was Irene. I thought Irene.
The
fucking countess, everything that she had. About the escape and the whole thing. But it turned out it was the other dude, Ivor or whatever. She was like, Ivor told me everything. I knew it before they even got there. I was like, she already know. That's why she. And then when she bit her,
calling her
blood from her, I was like, she gonna be able to see everything that Kelly was talking about. Like what?
Right.
No.
That's my thing.
But I like that part though. I like that the girls stuck together. I like that the girls did not, like none of them faltered. Like they all were like, no, let's get Cecilia even. Like that they were really like girl power stick together kind of vibe at the end. I really enjoyed that.
They hated her once.
Exactly.
Number one.
Yeah, once she moved up the ranks so quickly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of jealousy and stuff going on, but it never got to the point where it became, except for with Cecilia. Cecilia was a whole different story because she was at top and then she got knocked down. Yeah. But the other girls, they made little snide comments here and there, but I feel like overall they still had a certain respect for one another. I don't know.
Because I feel.
Anybody here Game of Thrones fans? I know Tanasha's the Game of Thrones fan. Anybody? Kwame, did you see what I put in the Discord when I was like, my name is Rick?
Oh,
when Cecilia was down in the thing and she didn't look like herself no more, but she was like, I'm wretched. I'm wretched. The first thing that popped into my mind was the whole Reek thing. Like she'd been beaten down so much that she don't even know her own name no more.
Wow.
And I just thought about Theon because he was so down. He was like, no, I'm not Theon. I'm Reek. And so when she was like, I'm wretched, I was like, the whole Game of Thrones thing just popped in my head. I put that shit in the Discord.
Sir Christian can meet Theon's fate. Sir Christian can meet Theon's fate. That will be. I really couldn't get into this, but I mean, it took me the whole month to read it because I kept falling asleep. I was so bored. The book was very dragged for me. It was so slow. Like I said, I I liked the end, and I liked a lot of the things in the end. I just wish maybe some of the world building switched around, and like the
Mhm.
pace was a lot different, and maybe I could have like gone into it more, but it was a drag for me. It was very hard for me to read this book. It's like once it started to pick up, I was reading it, and it was, but it was just hard, and it's hard for me because if I'm into, I think I had gone past halfway the book, and I was like, okay, something's gotta like happen.
To say that I really like the all the different quotes from the different people that
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't even haven't met, because that makes it seem like the world is much bigger, and then like other people have said, that could open it up to other stories in the other books in the world. But
This book had a lot of great quotes. That's one thing it did have. The
Yeah.
writing was very
Yeah.
good. I was tabbing the mess out of stuff, like some good quotes in the book. What would you rate this book, and what would be your one sentence review?
I will rate it a 3 out of 5 because 3, I think, because I like vampire books, I like housemaid books, but probably like a 2.5, honestly, because it's like I said, it's the same exact plot as before. Build up on the characters. Tiago, what he about? How he became who he is? How did these girls? Where did they find the twins from? Where did they get the little girl? Who daughter is that? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they probably touched on it, but they ain't touch on it enough for me to even remember. Like,
I would love the flashback to expand on May's story.
Yeah. Yeah. All they said about her was she was found in a whorehouse, and all the stuff that she saw from there.
Yeah.
throw a couple more twists and turns, and like,
Mhm.
let's find out that the actual housemaid is the one that's actually, you know what I mean, like the person you least expect. Like, maybe what if the tutor
Mhm.
turned around and you came out the darkness, like, you know what I mean, like, what if he turned out to be the vampire? Somebody, like, just a major twist needed to happen in that story, other than
Yeah.
just
Or Agnes,
found in the basement.
like you said,
Agnes would have been a good
it
twist.
was like
The
Agnes
fact that she
said.
was a housemaid
Right.
already, and that would have been a good twist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the type of thing I'm looking for at the end. Not just, oh, they escaped. No, how about we find out that, somebody is like that this lady, that slave that was beating her to make her to clean the floors. What if she popped out as the real her, like somebody mother or something? Like, I feel like she needs to do some work on her surprises.
Building.
It wasn't that
Yeah.
grand. It wasn't that grand at the end.
Yeah.
It was like, what's the name? It was pretty predictable. Like, you saw it coming.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anybody else? What would you rate this book?
I'm gonna go with like a 2.32, or it's. I don't want to give it a 2, but I got.
Give it what you think it deserves. I mean, it's your review.
I think it deserves no stars, but I know I can't do that.
Christina is so harsh on books,
You
but I
you
love it.
said give it what I want.
I know. I said I love it. I love it.
Yo,
Y'all know how I am about these books, y'all.
Yeah.
I like that. You go, girl. You give it a 0.
She said no stars.
0.
Start all over. Do it again.
Try again. That's her review. Try again, Alexis.
Yeah.
Try again,
That book
Alexis.
pissed me off.
Again.
I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
lie to y'all, right? I like literally had to stop reading it and start another one, like a good one to get me through my reading crave. So
Yeah,
I
it was
ended up
hard.
reading Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. It was very good. But like and then I started
Okay.
A Local Woman Missing, because it wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't like, when you want to read a book and it just wasn't. So, I mean, yeah, we could do like a 2. A 2.
I've noticed that Christina, she really loves the thrillers. So we got better luck
Yeah.
with Christina with the thriller book.
Yes.
Yeah.
She really loves
But in my defense, I was ready to read about vampires. That book just wasn't giving what I needed it to give.
Right.
Understandable. I was ready for some heads to get ripped off too. So
Yeah. Instead, no
especially during the
offense.
fight scene. Like, I want to see some vampires ripping some heads off.
Yeah.
We were so we were so like
Yeah.
we saw the name of that book, House of Hunger, and we was thinking about it's about vampires. We were so amped up, all of us. We was like,
Yeah.
yes, we was about to get into it.
Mhm.
And
No.
boo, okay.
Well, I have noticed, like, in movies and in books, you get the real, like, Twilight, House of Hunger type of vampires, or you get fucking 30 Days a Night type
And I
vampires.
was just about to say it. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I
They
will
are
take
so
the 30 days a
scary.
night. Yes.
I love that.
That is
I
so
have The Gathering. I cannot wait to read The Gathering by C.J. Tudor. I heard that's
Oh, yes.
amazing. It has
Oh,
vampires in it.
yeah.
Yes,
That was
I
on my
want
list.
to. I
That's
can't
on
wait
my
for that.
list of books to read. I want to read that so bad.
I heard that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of it. What is it?
It's called The
The
Gathering
Gathering
by
Gathering.
C.J. Tudor.
by C.J. Tudor. Yeah,
Yeah.
Girl, I
And,
just
like,
said I'm gonna stop buying these books, but I'm going to get it. I don't care.
I know.
We
I know.
all
I
say
can't do
that.
nothing
Yeah. We
else with these
all
books.
say that.
I don't have no more money
right.
for these
Yeah.
books. Fuck it. My rating would be 2, and I think I would say something um like good potential. Like story had a lot of potential. Unfortunately, like it fell flat and was predictable. It was
Mhm.
flat and predictable. Like yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Almost DNF'd. I would have DNF'd if I didn't have to read it for book club. So
Same
that's my
here.
review.
Same here. Book
I
club
know.
saved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way, Kiki. A 2 for me, same thing. It has it has a lot of potential, but it did drag because, like you said, I was looking for more.
Yeah.
But I read it.
Everything happened in the last 5 chapters.
Yeah. You asked my husband. I'm reading this. I'm like, Rob, what am I reading? What's going on?
I said I give it a 3,
Okay.
and the whole part of them, like taking the blood from them, it brought me back to the first book we read. But the difference is the human counterpart could talk and all that stuff. She was making me mad when she kept telling her, like, I love you. I just want it should be me. I should be enough. I'm like, girl, she eating you. She don't care.
You
Right.
don't
Right.
care.
She don't need just you. And it was like so redundant because she kept saying that to her, saying, you don't need no one else. You just got me. I was like, no, you almost died.
Girl,
And
listen.
she just
Yes,
kept like,
yes, that's right. She almost died.
I
Oh,
was
She
I
was
was
so
getting so
obsessed.
irritated by her
She was very
character.
obsessed. She ended up becoming just like Cecilia. Cecilia was
Yes.
obsessed.
yes,
And I
Mhm.
said, she turned into Cecilia.
yes, yes.
And I wrote this in my notes that you bring it up now, Kwame. I was like, girl, she is delusional. I said they were looking for blood. They were looking for blood maids before you even arrived. And now that
Right.
you're here and you done got so obsessed with this woman now.
Yes.
Now you don't want her to find nobody else. Who you think you is? Like,
Exactly.
she was looking for people before you got there. She's gonna be looking for people long after you gone. And you think you're gonna be here forever? They don't keep nobody
Nope.
past the age of 25. Like,
Nope.
You think you the one and only?
this is
She
just a business
so
for her.
demanding.
You went
Yes.
selling love, and this is
Yup.
just business to her.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
wait, wasn't Marion stressing y'all out when she kept being a little bold with her questions? I was like, girl,
Yes.
she's like, I found this, and I found this written in the thing, and this, and look, she's asking Lisa that these all posing. Girl, you need to calm. You don't know your environment yet.
Right.
You know,
Zip
you know,
it.
The
she
room.
was just a little too forward.
She was.
Yeah.
Especially
She
when
was
she made First Blood Man, she let it go to her head because she stormed
Yup.
in and was asking about Jeffrey when they
asking
got
about.
rid of him. Like, what happened to Jeffrey? And I'm like, bitch, you need to calm down because, like, you see how easily Cecilia was replaced? You think you can't be replaced?
Like, shut up.
Oh, that's the same thing. That was
Yeah, I
that
think we
she stressed
all
me
said
out there too. Like, girl,
She was
you
afraid
I do
naive.
feel like
people let their title go to their head.
Yes.
yes,
She was.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
I do feel in a way that she was a little bit extra special to everyone. First of all, she did save the day. And Tiago, at the very end, he was like, you know what? All you had to do is shut up because she actually loved you. And in my mind, I was thinking maybe she did feel, stronger feelings for this girl than other
Right.
girls because it was like she did have she was different. She was asking those questions. She was being, you know, she was the antagonist. She
Hmm.
was following her. She was wondering
Mhm.
things, and she was totally different than any girl that came there, because they all was weak. They was weak as hell, but she wasn't. She was strong, and she won at the end. You know what I mean? So I feel like at the end, Tiago was right. Like, yo, you were special. But like she said, kill me, because one of us got to walk out of here, and it's got to be one of us. And she was stronger than Elizabeth, no matter what. At the end of the day, she was
Mhm.
the victor. You know what I mean? So
I
I
do
feel like
wonder, Lindsay, now that you bring that up, I do wonder if she never would have found out what was happening, if Elizabeth would have actually put her down there like she did Cecilia and tried to drain her dry, or
I think
if
so. I
because she
think
liked her
so.
so much she would have left her.
I think she was. She started calling her wretch. She said wretched.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, once she called her wretched, it was like, oh, she's grooming her.
Yeah. Yeah.
My little wrench or whatever she said to her. Oh God.
Yeah.
They writing this shit in the wood. Like, what kind of delusional? What kind of spell is she putting on, guys? I don't know.
It was toxic. It was
Ripping
just
your
like
teeth out.
Lucian
What
said.
is going
Shit
on?
toxic.
Oh my gosh. Yes. At least Lestat and whatever they just beat up. I mean, well, I guess Lestat did almost kill Louis. I don't know. That it is toxic. It is toxic, but I love that story way more.
I love a toxic relationship.
I
There's
love
something
them.
wrong with me. Okay, I like reading about toxic relationships, especially when there's a lot of passion involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off as pure. Like, a toxic relationships really start off as pure, and then
They
somebody
do.
turns out to be an
Yeah.
asshole.
Mhm.
And then now you freaking out and you losing your mind, because you know
Or
you're not crazy, and they're making you feel like you're crazy, and now you're about to kill yourself.
gaslighting.
No, I think I liked it a little more than most people here, but I would probably give it a 3 or 3.5. Just because I thought the bones of the world building were interesting that I would like to see it expanded on.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would probably give it a 3 or 3.5. Not my favorite, but I enjoyed it. It did drag in a few places for sure. I agree with that.
Now, see, I don't usually give half stars, but I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5. Reading different types of books let you know what you like and what you don't like. So, I mean, whether you like the book or not, you still found out something about your reading taste from it.
I totally could have got into this book though if it was like real vampires. Like, I love me a vampire movie. Like, if it was like not real vampires, but if it was like a little more even gruesome, like what's going on? Like, let's start killing people and there's a plot and I know and it's like happening faster pace. I would have been like so into it.
Read Let the Right One In.
Drum roll. Here we go.
Blood Like Mine.
We have a
Is
winner.
it? Blood Like Mine. Oh, okay. That sounds good. It sounds vampire-esque. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Please keep in mind that these are just highlights from our book club meetings. These aren't the book club meetings in its entirety. If you'd like to get in on the conversation and get in on the fun, then please consider joining the book club. You can comment down below or send me an email if you're interested in joining.